Most players know Lucky Quinn as the old man who runs the Chicago South Club, the criminal mastermind behind half the city's corruption. But what a lot of people miss is that Quinn wasn't just another mob boss. He was the unseen architect behind everything that happened to Aiden Pearce, even before the events of Watch Dogs 1 truly began. His network, his influence, and his relationship with Bloom Corporation shaped Aiden's path from the shadows in ways few players ever realize. Quinn wasn't just funding illegal operations. He was the link between organized crime and the world of corporate surveillance. Before ctOS went live in Chicago, Bloom needed powerful local figures to smooth things over, to get politicians and businesses on board with handing over massive amounts of data. Quinn was that fixer. He made sure the city's elite benefited from the new system, whether through blackmail, bribery, or violence. By the time ctOS launched, Quinn and his South Club already owned a piece of it. That's why he had access to information even Bloom's internal agents didn't. And this is where Aiden comes in. When Aiden's hacking drew too much attention, it wasn't just Bloom that wanted him silenced. It was Quinn who ordered the hit that killed Aiden's niece, Lena. But here's the deeper layer. Quinn didn't target Aiden out of revenge. He did it to protect his business. Aiden's intrusion risked exposing the very deals Quinn made to tie the underworld to ctOS. In Quinn's mind, Aiden wasn't a threat to his life. He was a threat to his entire empire of information. Even after his death, Quinn's reach continued to influence the story. The South Club may have fallen apart, but the power structure he built remained. His methods, manipulating information, controlling people through secrets, directly mirror what Aiden does throughout the game. It's ironic that Aiden becomes the very thing he hates, a man using surveillance and fear to maintain control. That parallel is intentional. In interviews, Ubisoft's writer said Quinn was designed as a reflection of what Aiden could become if he lost his moral compass completely. There's also a chilling implication hidden in the data files you can hack during the game. Some of them reference Quinn's connections to early ctOS prototypes, meaning he may have been using a pre-launch version of the system long before the public even knew it existed. He wasn't just a gangster, he was effectively one of the first users of ctOS's power, testing the boundaries of digital control in the criminal world. That means Aiden's entire struggle to bring justice to Quinn is part of a cycle Quinn helped create. In the end, when Aiden confronts Quinn in his penthouse, the scene isn't just revenge, like it's symbolic. It's the student facing the master of control. Aiden shuts down Quinn's pacemaker with the same technology Quinn once used to dominate an entire city. The message is clear. In a world ruled by information, even the most powerful can be brought down by their own systems. So while most players remember Lucky Quinn as just another villain, his role runs much deeper. He's the ghost that shaped the rise of ctOS, the silent hand that created Aiden's tragedy. When most players think of fixers, they imagine the random mercenaries chasing Aiden through the streets of Chicago, or those online contracts that pit players against one another. But the Fixer network was much deeper than that. It was a system born from the cracks in the city's new digital infrastructure, a product of corruption, and a precursor to the chaos that followed. Before the events of Watch Dogs 1, Fixers were hired guns who thrived in the early stages of ctOS. When the central operating system went live, it connected everything, from phones and traffic lights to government records. That level of control attracted a new breed of criminal. People who didn't need guns or gangs, just a laptop and a reason to profit. The Fixers took full advantage of that. They weren't just bounty hunters, they were information brokers, blackmailers, and hitmen for hire. They sold data the same way people used to sell drugs. Fast, dangerous, and always off the grid. The Fixer network itself was managed through a digital marketplace that mirrored the dark web. Contracts were distributed anonymously, meaning you could take a job without ever meeting your employer. This allowed corporations, crime lords, and even corrupt officials to erase problems without getting their hands dirty. Aiden Pearce himself worked as a fixer before the story began, and that's what led to the infamous Merlau hotel job that changed everything. But here's what most players miss. The Fixer network wasn't just random chaos. It was structured, almost militarized. The leader of this shadow market was a man named Jordy Chin. Though not officially in charge, he was one of the most well-connected fixers in Chicago. Jordy handled logistics, payouts, and cleanup for high-value clients. His relationship with Aiden went beyond business. Jordy was the kind of man who saw morality as optional. He represented what Aiden could have become if he'd lost his sense of purpose entirely. Over time, the Fixer network grew too powerful. With the police department compromised and ctOS being monitored by Bloom Corporation, there was no one left to hold them accountable. Rival fixers began turning on each other. Some tried to take over city districts, while others were recruited by Bloom itself for covert operations. In fact, the Fixer network became so unstable that even the government began taking notice, but by then, it was too late. When Aiden launched his personal war after the death of his niece, the Fixers were hit hard. Many of their contracts became collateral damage as Aiden targeted their employers. He exposed parts of their system, hacked their communications, and in doing so, forced them into the open. Ironically, the same network that made him a criminal became one of his biggest enemies. By the end of Watch Dogs 1, the Fixer network was in ruins, scattered and leaderless.